Good afternoon, everybody. It's John once again for Father's Rights and my anti-human trafficking page. It's 11:31 a.m., September 30th, 2024. I do have another video that goes intensely into this problem I have here, but this is a light version. That version of that video is for somebody else to look at. You see the picture up here, you can see this young girl here, and you see this woman here. I finally managed to piece together what was going on between my wife's family with my daughter and myself. My current circumstances come from my wife being irresponsible and reckless and under the total control of her corrupt family, with her mother leading the charge. Her mother has borrowed money from a loan shark and stuck us with the bill. I found out about that. She also scammed my wife out of $2,000. The family is a pack of grifters, okay? She pigeon dropped my wife, her own daughter, because she ran out of victims. Now, when my wife stopped sending my daughter to school, a lot of people were asking me, doesn't she care about her daughter's future? You know, why is she not sending her to school? This was actually came from a police officer. What's going on was something I didn't realize is that my wife comes from a family with a bad history with children. Okay, my wife actually had two siblings. Both of them are dead. One died quite recently because the mother just decided to neglect her when she needed support to go get her dialysis done. She would not bring her daughter and blame the father for not driving the daughter to the dialysis center when she could have took a plane, a bus, a train, whatever. If it was my kid and I didn't have any means to get her there, I'd carry her on my back. I noticed several anomalies in how my wife treats my child. She doesn't see my daughter is under stress. Like my daughter was being picked on by the school bully. My wife did nothing. My daughter complained to her several times. I noticed my daughter under stress. I talked to her and I helped her with the problem and I solved it. Another time, doing the job that I was doing, which was one of the highest risk jobs you could do, my daughter would stand by the window, sit down in the chair, and scratch her arm from her wrist to her elbow until I came home, suffering anxiety, worrying that I was going to get killed. I noticed her when I came in at the window, and she immediately got up when she seen me and pulled her sleeve down, and I could tell that she was disturbed, that something was bothering her. Yet her mother, who was with her all day, never noticed. So I talked to my daughter, and for my daughter's benefit, I changed jobs so she wouldn't be stressed out and suffer from anxiety. And she was a much happier kid after that, realizing that there isn't going to be a day when the police come to the house and they're going to tell us bad news that dad got shot down in a gun battle. So I did that for my daughter. I've always protected children. My nephew Joey, when he was about 1.5 years old, was attacked by a large dog. I was the only one there. I had to fight the dog. And I did. Because I didn't want my brother, who passed away, to lose another kid. He had previously lost a daughter named Melissa, who I was very attached to. And I wasn't going to stand there and let that beast devour my nephew Joey and destroy my brother. It was all or nothing. So, why was my wife so reckless with sending my daughter to school without a care whether she went to school or not? Yet putting herself on a pedestal for sending my daughter to a private school and paying for it, but yet still not attending it. Why would she do that? Why is it not so important for my wife to send my kid to school and break CPS regulations and actually get CPS involved? I'll tell you why. Because it was nothing to her and her family, because they got a terrible secret. You see this girl here in the picture with the white dress on, wedding dress? She's 15 years old and 8 months pregnant. In this picture, which was taken February 15, 2015, she is marrying the 31-year-old man that statutory raped her when she was 14. And this is the results of she got pregnant by this guy. This woman that you see here is my wife's cousin who masterminded all of this plot against me, along with my wife's mother. I have their handwriting on the statements that they made to get an order of protection against me, which they skillfully used to alienate me from my daughter. They were never supposed to have those orders of protection because the first judge saw through their bullshit and said it was dismissed with prejudice. Well, that didn't stop them. They just went to criminal court the same day and made up a fucking story where saying I brandished my pistol on the way to work when I haven't even worked that job for 7 years. But a lie is a lie. The whole family is corrupt. They're trying to cover this up. I think what the motivation of this was, well, if he's complaining about you not sending the daughter to school, what's going to happen when he finds out what happened to this girl here? And they were right. All these people, she coerced this girl to marry a 31-year-old when she's 15, which she's not supposed to be doing, because forcing a child at 15 years old to marry a 31-year-old that statutory raped her when she was 14 is child trafficking. You see, you understand, everybody? They're child trafficking. And this is why I don't trust them with my child. My child's been alienated from me. They've been brainwashed to the point where they're telling the child, your father's insane, because I exposed them on this. These people aren't worthy of even taking care of a baby pig, much less a human child. They are not wired right. There is something wrong. The family has an incredible lengthy history of mental illness, and yet they're calling me insane for pointing this out. I don't believe my daughter is safe, even with my wife who openly neglects her. Now, my wife was told, hey, what you're doing is child neglect. Well, yeah, I'll fix it. And she made it even worse. I don't know if she made it worse to get back at me or get a bad reaction from me. She's doing it on purpose. That means she's actually doing willful neglect, which is abuse. My daughter isn't the first child she abused. She knew about this girl getting impregnated at 14 years old by a 30-year-old. And my wife, being an adult, has committed a crime because she knew about this and she didn't call it in. That's where we're at, people. And she had me arrested 3 times, 2 of them for doing what I was allowed to do, because family court put an amendment on the fictitious criminal order of protection she got against me, which she wasn't supposed to have. This is what I'm dealing with, people. That whole family is cursed. I got to get my daughter out there at all costs. I got to get her out of there, or Fanny is going to auction her off. And it's okay. So what? She's 15 and married to 31-year-old. That's my wife. So what? No big deal. That's statutory rape. What else have they done that I don't know about? God knows. And the detective told me, so far what you found, he goes like this, there's always going to be more with these people. He goes, it's better off that you stop and let us handle it. So far, they're absolutely caught on this. And we don't need the girl to press charges. The state can do it. Now here's a picture of the guy that the groom. He's not in any of the wedding pictures, for obvious reasons. Because if you put him next to the bride, you're obviously going to say, "Is that her father?" No, that's her husband. At the time he married her on February 15, 2015, he was 31 and the girl was 15. He's standing next to the mayor of Danbury, Connecticut, in this picture. And why is he in Connecticut? Because what happened was, in order not to get detected in New York and get arrested and thrown in jail, which he should have been, they took the girl to Connecticut and she gave birth over there, because the age of consent is 16 over there in Connecticut. So it wouldn't be unusual in Connecticut to see such a thing. But when he crossed state lines, he violated the Mann Act. The Mann Act then is a federal law, and the age of consent nationwide under federal law is 18. This man in the blue shirt, the dark blue shirt, should be in prison for 20 and 30 years. His co-conspirator, who coerced a minor child to marry an adult after he raped her, she should get 10 years. And the other person who knew about it and didn't do anything at all, and actually was perturbed that I would even think of doing something about it, should also get some time. So that's where we're at. Anybody's got any questions, feel free to post. I will let you know what they're doing in New York City. I have been called. I was told he needs to be arrested. This guy here. I haven't heard anything yet. I'm thinking that they're going to wait until October 15th, when all my charges, these fictitious charges my wife and the family have been putting on me, saying that I abused them and I terrified them and I threatened their life, which is total bullshit. It's all a cover story to hide what they've been doing to children. And I fear to think that they will do this to my daughter. To sit here and do nothing for my daughter will cost her the rest of her life. This poor girl has to be traumatized from this whole event in some form, in some way. Now, she has 2 kids now, this girl. Is she going to let them get raped, since it seems to be the family dynamic? And on that, I'm out of here.